hospitalized for a couple of weeks. Another protest today in Pittsburgh, where earlier this week an unarmed black teenager was shot and killed by a police officer.
Hundreds in the streets
sit the middle one. This is the headset.
still angry over the death of 17-year-old Antoine Rose, shot to death by an East Pittsburgh officer on Tuesday. Police say someone drove a black sedan through a group of protesters, but there were no injuries reported.
That's Fox's Ron Johnson. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs.
She's gonna give us an extra minute.
No one can understand. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to think that having someone who will listen is gonna help make it better. I'm realizing that I need help.
I'm listening.
Take that on.
I need help. I'm realizing that I think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
It'll happen behind closed doors next week. FBI agent Peter Strzok, who was removed from the special counsel's Russia investigation, will testify before Congress. Front and center will likely be the text messages sent by Strzok to his mistress, former FBI lawyer Lisa Page. In one of them, he talks about stopping then-candidate Donald Trump.
What does he mean? How are they going to stop Trump? Well, go to the next week, in mid-August, when he texts Lisa Page about the meeting that they had in Andrew McCabe's office. And he said, look, I hope that Trump can win, and they're saying that, but we can't take that risk.
Make sure that door's turned behind you.
Policy.
House Republican Ron DeSantis, an attorney for Strzok, claims that political bias did not affect his client's investigative decisions. President Trump is playing politics today. He's heading to Nevada to help a Republican senator.
I gotta mess this camera up. I don't want it pointing on you. You want to get that to where it's firm? Yeah. It's coming on a minute.
Headaches that most people experience. Well,
hey guys, got a good show for you. Hope you stay tuned. Talk in numbers 865-888-TALK. 865-888-TALK. Hey, we'll get that towards you.
His system outmarkets and outsells 99% of other agents in the Knoxville area. Ryan spends thousands of dollars every week on marketing, and he drives more buyers to your home, resulting in a home selling faster and for more money. Ryan has been voted by Knoxville News Sentinel as one of the best realtors in your area. What I like is when you call Ryan, you get Ryan. You're not passed off to another agent.
Good. Check.
On such a big decision like selling your home, you can't afford not to have a hometown expert like Ryan on your side. And don't worry about getting stuck owning 2 homes or no home at all. Ryan guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline acceptable to you, or he'll buy it himself. How cool is that? Call Ryan directly at 693-SOLD. That's 693-7653, or go to ryancoleman.org and start packing.
Mike, there we go.
Are you thinking of buying or selling your home? Downsizing? Upsizing? Investing? Are you relocating? Do you want to know your local market conditions? Are you behind on payments? Are you looking for improvement tips? Or what if your home didn't sell? This is Real Estate with Ryan. your hometown expert and trusted source for the most up-to-date information. And now your host, Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well on a Saturday, and thank you for joining Real Estate with Ryan. My name is Ryan Coleman, along with April Coleman in the studios. Hope you're doing well.
Good morning.
She's doing a little prep here. Last minute rush. Nothing like live in the studios.
Traffic's crazy out there today. Crazy.
You know, as realtors, we're always running late. We're always got something going last moment. So, always something going on. Hope you're doing well, and we've got a good show for you. We're going to get right to it because we've got 30 minutes and a lot of topics. So, if you watch the social media post, if you watch some of the things that we're promoting, got banned by, I was talking to our producer, got banned by Facebook. Go figure. Got banned by Facebook. So this is a little political, well, a lot political about this particular show that we're going to run. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely going to tie into the real estate market. And what we're going to talk about is the last 18 months. We have a certain president out there, President Trump, that's been in office. And there's a lot of things going on. I don't care if you're right, left, middle, which side you're on. We're going to talk about the real estate market and how that would impact you. And more specifically, in our backyard, East Tennessee. How will that help you? And where are we going to see here at 18, 19, and even projected into 20. So we got a great show for you. We got some giveaways. My wife wants to give away some stuff.
Yes, we did.
So we're going to go for the ladies. We got a good gift here.
Everybody knows Chip and
Joanna Gaines. Yeah. And so we picked this up. We thought this would be really, really good. And it's Magnolia Table. Some really good recipes. My wife said if you don't call in and get it, that it's okay. She might actually cook for me. So
Maybe.
So there's no chance in that. So please call in and get it because she ain't cooking. So really good book. It's a nice book. Hope you guys, I know you can't see it, but social media you see it. Really nice book. We're going to give that away. And you know, this may date me, but back in my generation, the original Star Wars came out. And there's a new one that came out, The Last Jedi. Pretty good, 4K, ultra high def, 4K, Blu-ray, all that good stuff. It's got it all here. We're giving away that DVD. We're going to start with the cookbook, so we'll let you know when we call in. Let's say first caller before break, we're going to give away the cookbook. That's for the ladies that are out there, for your wife if you call in. And then we'll give away the guys the CD in the last hour. So 865-888-TALK. That's 865-8255 are the talk lines. Studio is open and running. So let's get into our show. And if you call in between, we're going to make it short. Any questions you got on real estate, we'll definitely do that. But
let us know your thoughts about what you think about the economy. And
Sure. Give us our thoughts. I think that's most important. This show is a lot of interaction. We want to see where you're at. I don't care what political view you have. Where do you think the economy has changed in the last 2 years? And where do you see it going? We know we got a lot of trade rumors, tariffs going on, a lot of different things. Interest rates just made probably 4 or 5 hikes this week. We talked about it in our show the other week. And now they just lowered them just yesterday. So are we raising the rates too soon? Are we getting to an issue where buyers are backing out of the market? Are we cooling down a little bit? I think all those things come into play. So let's talk about some numbers. I think most importantly, do you want to start, April? Or let's talk about economic growth. I think more specifically, under the presidency of Mr. Trump, 3.2. 3.2 in the third quarter of 17, and then so here we're 3.2 economic growth. Now, yes, overall economic growth. Now, if you look at the Dow, everybody's following the stock market, what's going on there. You know, we're hitting record numbers there, we haven't seen in some time. And understanding that market, back into 2009, so back in a certain part of 17, I think the end of 17, the Dow Jones breaks 20,000 points for the first time in 5 days.
Wow.
So pretty good. Now, unemployment, down 4.1 in December. It is the lowest record level as of 3.9% as of 2001. Why is that? Why is that? Now, U.S. wages have not increased significantly, but more specifically, they're up 2.8%. We've got a little sound clip that our producer's going to run. It talks about one of the experts out there that talks about the economy. I'm going to play that clip, and then we'll get back into it, kind of tie that into the real estate market here and what all has been going on. So, overall, not just me, the economy is moving. And you're seeing that in the real estate market here, that if you're looking for a home in this market, we talk every week, the good ones are moving quickly. We're seeing record sales on our real estate side, and I think that relates into the housing market as far as the inventory. Inventory's down. There is that point, though, guys, that we're talking about, that there's an affordability factor where we just can't keep going higher and higher. Right. I think you're seeing that on the West Coast where a lot of millennials are just Gen Xers or just a combination of all the 4 or 5 different age groups are saying, hey, this doesn't make sense to own a home right this second. It's easier to rent. Just the challenge is, even though that the jobs numbers and employment are down, but incomes are up slightly, they have not paced with the economy. That the real estate and the market have boomed so much that they have not kept up with the incomes. The incomes have been stagnant for about 8 years, or even down. You know, the unemployment number is at 4.3. It's a 16-year low. The economy has added 1 more million jobs since President Trump has took office.
That's a lot of jobs.
But on the other hand, what we're tying into, that the wage growth has yet to really pick up. And the Federal Reserves obviously see that we could go, that they would rather raise their rates to 3 to 3.5. We talked about before on the interest rate, what changes that market, what affects that market. Obviously, when people stop buying and selling, and that flows in the real estate economy and products as goods as overall, then you see people, it's a supply and demand issue. I was talking to my guy that was our TV rep yesterday. He goes, Ryan, we're running a lot of political ads. I said, I see that. I don't see my spot on there, man. And he was like, you know, it's a supply and demand issue. And that's similar to the real estate market, is, you know, when people are buying, there's less inventory, but when people less buy, there comes more inventory in the market because it's more of a price competition thing. And the more inventory that's on the market, what's the only way to, there's only one way to compete. You know, there's only one way to compete. You know, either you're going to add more value to the property, we're going to upgrade the kitchen, we're going to upgrade the floors, we're going to do these things that we need to the property, we're going to lower the price. And that becomes the challenge when we've got to compete with the other neighbors in the market. So back in 2009, 2010, U.S. unemployment rate, 10%.
Wow.
And now we're at 4.3, a little bit under that, trending.
That's really good.
So,
do you all feel it
out there? Is there anybody out there that's maybe experienced having a hard time finding a job, and then, or they know somebody that's had a hard time finding a job, and then maybe Trump came into office and it's, you know, they found a job, they're doing better? You know, we want to hear your experiences and what you have to say about it.
What's your thoughts? I mean, do you feel overall confidence in the market? I mean, are you seeing that even though the house prices are more specifically getting astronomical, but do you feel more confidence in your job? Do you feel like April was saying, when you go out to look for a job, are you seeing that there? Now, one thing that President Trump has done, are you familiar with FHA, the Federal Housing Administration? There was a cut that President Obama was going to do affecting the MIP, mortgage insurance premium, and that was going to reduce that premium. The fear of that was that the FHA, the Housing Administration, could not afford if the delinquencies increased. So President Trump decided against that MIP reduction. So that just means that, you know, your FHA loan still could be a little bit more expensive than your conventionals. Listen, we're coming on a hard break. I got some stuff to give away. I want to hear your thoughts. Overall economy, what's going on here in East Tennessee, Knoxville, in your backyard. 865-888-TALK, 865-888-TALK, and we'll hope to see you on the other side of the break.
Hey Knoxville, Laura Ingram here. Thinking about selling your home with all the headaches that most people experience? Well, not all real estate agents operate the same. You have someone right here in your own backyard you can trust if you need to sell your home. I'm talking about Ryan Coleman of Hometown Realty. His system outmarkets and outsells 99% of other agents in the Knoxville area. Ryan spends thousands of dollars every week on marketing, and he drives more buyers to your home, resulting in a home selling faster and for more money. Ryan has been voted by Knoxville News Sentinel as one one of the best realtors in your area. What I like is when you call Ryan, you get Ryan. You're not passed off to another agent. On such a big decision like selling your home, you can't afford not to have a hometown expert like Ryan on your side. And don't worry about getting stuck owning 2 homes or no home at all. Ryan guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline acceptable to you, or he'll buy it himself. How cool is that? Call Ryan directly at 693-SOLD. That's 693-7653, or go to ryancoleman.org and start packing.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely, like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. Message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and
You do it?
It's Real Estate with Ryan on Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760. Got a question for Ryan? Call the Pure Magic Hotline at 865-888-TALK.
Welcome back. Thank you guys for staying with us.
I like that music, man.
I know,
It's
it's
a little
kind of
groove.
nice and groovy. Hey guys, let's take the first caller that calls in right now at 888-8255. Call in 865-888-TALK. Call in and get this book and tell us what you think about the economy. Let's see what your thoughts are.
Surfer, what's your thoughts on? Obviously, there's some other things going on in the economy. We're worried about trade wars, things like that are coming into play with whether it's China or some other countries out there. Some fears there. Do you think that President Trump's tough stand with the other nations, is that going to affect overall issues where we're going to affect the real estate market here?
That's a good question because, I didn't do well in history in school and I never really got into politics and I never got into history and it's never kind of been a thing of mine. So it's kind of interesting that just recently actually is when I became a little bit interested, but not studying up on anything, that's for sure. But I'm just wondering how that is all going to play out. And I feel like that we get a lot of our things from overseas and they're cheap, don't you think? I mean, they just don't cost that much money. If you buy something American made, it might be a little more expensive.
Sure.
So I'm just curious to know, how is all of that going to play out as far as if we are in this trade war? And I think he was talking about taxing the tariffs, or we get taxed on everything that we export, but they don't get taxed when they import stuff to us. So I don't know, but I'm just curious, will we just lose a lot of supplies? I mean, how is that even going to work? Are we just going to not have the stuff that or is it just going to cost more, the cheap little toys that we have?
Well, I think it's a balance. And I think if you look at President Trump's overall tax plan and what his goals, and so, let's just go over some of those real quickly, what he was looking for. President Trump's, his agenda, what he's looking for is America's first energy plan. Those are some things that are very, very important. We know about legal immigration. That was a big, big topic and a hot topic. A lot of red tape, trying to cut a lot of red tape with bureaucracies, getting building permits, environmental, a lot of those things have come into play. They've even affected the real estate market and commercial market. Obviously, producing jobs, those are big, and making our military strong, which is really key, and what he's been working hard. Getting the vets, taking care of the vets that have not been taken care of. And then most importantly, it's bringing jobs back to the U.S., bringing creation back to the U.S. I think what you're seeing is we relied for so long on outsourcing everything to other countries. Now that they've got a stronghold. They've got a stronghold of where they're controlling. And I think you see President Trump's not messing around. I mean, I think he's going to be pretty firm. Like he's a strong negotiator. Whether you like him, don't like him, that's, each is their own. I think he's trying to see that shift of a balance that has not been there before, and trying to shift that back to where we're back to where we used to be and can kind of control a lot of the overall market.
Yeah, that's what I think is most important too, is just us controlling, our own country and not letting everybody else control us.
The challenge is if it's not free trade and we got to balance with everybody out there. If it's not a win-win for both parties, it's like a real estate deal, right? If you're working a negotiation on a real estate deal, it's got to be a win for the seller. It's got to be a win for the buyer. It can't be one-sided. It's got to be a team approach. I mean, we can't produce everything, but it has to be a team approach. But at the same time, we can't be held hostage on stuff. So, and I think that's what you're seeing, and you're going to get pushback from all different sides of the parties. But overall, I think there's going to be some stance on that. If we do get into a trade war, we do have a lot of foreign exchange, things like that do affect the market, and you may see a decline. You may see some of that impact. The markets are a trickle-down effect, as you see. Whether the rates raise, the Feds raise the rates, that's changed long-term rates or short-term rates. I mean, all those things come into play. Consumer confidence is the biggest thing. I tell all my clients, we go back to that market that we came back through maybe 5 or 7 years ago. What stopped the market? And you and I talk about this all the time. It wasn't just the market that was declining. It was the news media. It was the news media. It was, CNN that says, hey, don't buy, retract. It was CNBC, hey, stop what you're doing, save, don't buy, rent. It was the news media that was pushing, don't spend money, don't do this, the world's coming to an end. And although there were some challenges, the challenge in the marketplace is if I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job, I'm not going to go spend money. I'm definitely not going to commit to a 30-year mortgage and move my family. Those relocations, companies in the marketplace stopped. Why? Well, I'm not moving anybody. We're on a hiring freeze. We're not doing this. So the market retracts. Everybody's pushing back.
That's right.
When everybody starts pushing back, they're not spending money. And here we go to a supply and demand issue. If people aren't spending money, restaurants are shutting down. You could see them all through Kingston Pike, right? Then they would retract. People would hold on to their wallet. They would hold on to their money. What do we do there? So then there's an issue where if I've got to move, we go two things. We're going to put more updates in the property, or it's a price issue. And if there's lack of buyers looking for your property, that becomes a bidding war. Then the challenge of the market, what we saw was the most motivated sellers in the market today, or during that time frame, was our banks, right? So our banks and our short sales during that market that collapsed, it said, okay, well, I'm in this subdivision, and all of a sudden, there's an extreme situation where there's a job loss, a transfer, whatever reason, and there's 5 homes in the neighborhood, but 123 Main Street goes on the market, and they hammer it by 20%. Now, guess what is your most competing sale in the neighborhood?
Yeah.
So your homes that are selling at 300 and they just sold it for 275.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Now I've got to be relocated to Texas. Guess what I'm up against? Now buyers, the old saying, what? Buyers want it for as cheap as they can get it. Yeah. Sellers want it for as much as they can get it. And that challenge is the buyers kind of jumped on it. And you're seeing a shift of the market a little bit now where the inventory and where it was, sellers, it's favorable to the sellers. But in any good market, any real estate market, if you're watching it, it's either it's a seller or a buyer. It's always a shift. We always talk about our clients that if you're coming from the market, if you're selling, it's usually you're not going to experience both. It's when you pull out of the marketplace, selling your home and just go to rent something that you don't experience a growth. I always say, look, think of it like your 401k. You just kind of roll it on over to the next one. And that equity would, again, appreciate if you're buying in the right area, location, and things like that. So things to think about on that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was even talking with someone that I know, and it was funny because they said, well, we want to buy our house or we want to sell our house because it's a really good market, but we want to buy something that is, this much money, this much square foot, it's going to look like this, and this is where we want to be. And I'm like, you're not going to get that right now. If you want to live in the outskirts of Knoxville, like way out, then you could probably get that. And I said, here, let's just go ahead and do a little search. So we did a search, and it's like, oh, no. I'm like, yeah, you can't get the price that you want for the house that you want because right now it's a seller's market,
right,
not a buyer's market.
Right.
And so being torn, well, do I sell my house now and I won't get as much money later, or how is it going to be? So I think everybody's torn between that as well. And So maybe that's another reason why inventory is down, is because not as many people want to sell. Maybe they'll get more money, but they just can't find what they want for the price that they want.
Well, keep in mind, guys, real estate's going to be for some time. It's food, shelter, clothing. It still is the American dream. We think it's one of the best investments you can make in your market. I think, some kind of recapping of some things that we're talking about, from our perspective and what we're seeing as real estate brokers here in 20 years in the market, I see that the market is as strong as we've seen it back since 2005, 2006. We go back to 2003 where the stock market was really moving. I've seen that affect the luxury market. And I see that in the higher end where we had some problems with moving some of those. So I see an overall impact in the market. It's hard not to understand that we've got a real estate guy in the office, not to root for the real estate guy in the office if we're in our business. It just doesn't make sense. I think he's a businessman first, and he's going to do what is best for the country. There's pro cons. We try not to get big into politics. I mean, I don't think it's a win. In sales, we never we're taught one thing: religion and politics. We try not to get into it. But we want to have this show, healthy debate. We're not telling you either which way to go, whether it's right, left, middle. Keep your mind out. I think what everybody has to understand, I don't care which side you're on, we're all Americans, right? We're all for the country. We want what's best for the country. I mean, all of us on the same team. We're all rooting for the same team. We need to be on the same team. Now, some of that's not, but that we gotta have a reality check that we're all on the same team. It would be so nice to watch everybody push together, and so many things that we could accomplish together as a team, but it probably never going to happen.
Never will, because everybody has so many different opinions that they just want to stick to their opinion and not be open-minded.
I think it's almost, my cousin says, it's like, he says, you watch your sports, I watch my politics. It's entertaining. Lord, it stressed me out. It's too much stress. But I think we're definitely for people. We're for everybody. That's our philosophy. And we're for everybody. I don't care who you are, which side, whatever, but we've got our views, you got your views. Our job, as always, if you need real estate help, you need the best in town, you got them right here every day. Every Saturday. I don't know if every day, I don't know if I can do it. Saturday, talk radio here in the studios, 92.3 FM, AM 760. If you ever need us off air, 693-SOLD or RyanColeman.org. Listen, I appreciate you guys calling in. I hope you have a great weekend, and we're going to check you here next weekend live in the studios.
It's 4th of July's coming up.
Oh boy. Hope you guys have a great 4th of July. You have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you next weekend.
Into Real Estate with Ryan on Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760 with Ryan Coleman of Hometown Realty. Find Ryan on Facebook at Ryan Coleman Group or online at ryancoleman.org. To contact Ryan by phone, call 865-693-7653.
Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show.